And okay, there we go. I needed to get the link. Oh my goodness. Philly, this is. I gotta wait for things to, Okay. I might need to cut some of this out later if I can, but we're gonna go ahead and get started while we're here. Here, people can go back and watch the VOD when they are ready. Um, so, we are gonna start with Regice and go on from there. These rankings are going to be pretty much subjective because the problem is I wasn't able to find anyone to do this one with me, so I'm on my own. So the rankings are going to be a little less accurate probably than I think they would be normally. Unless someone decides they want to join in. If they decide they want to join in, then they can, and we will get there. Alright, I'm gonna do a thing. Alright, so we're going to start with Boss in Infinite Fusion. So Infinite Fusion, I have very little experience with, but we're going to see. Iron Valiant is on. So on its own, Iron Valiant is an amazing Pokemon. We already all know this. And when you can give anything Iron Valiant's move pool, like Garchomp, or wait, hang on, are there any rules like fusion bands? Or I didn't look at that. Any other Pokemon on the team? That feels like it might be a bit much. Not gonna lie. Okay, so like for instance, Garchomp with like that thing looks if you fuse it with an Iron Valiant, that gives it an insane move pool, I would presume. Crocodile, his entire team could benefit from it. I'm pretty sure Shift Gear is banned. I'm pretty sure Shift Gear isn't banned. Oh jeez. So this man could fuse his Revavroom with his Garchomp and run Shift Gear Garchomp. That is ludicrous, I say. Is there any? Reuniclus, Magic Guard is an amazing ability, unless, do they ban that as well? No, they did not ban Magic Guard. Magic Guard is an insane ability. It is the reason Reuniclus was so good for a long time. Anything like Thunderous Therian, for example, that sounds kind of scary. Or even go Regenerator. Or on something like for instance, the Feraligatr, the Crocodile, or possibly the Cradily? Or the Fortress, I guess, but why would you... But, I guess. This is just an overall a solid team. I do think it might be a little bit on the slower side, but I think he can make it work for them. But I think he can make it work. He might be able to make it work just fine. So, which one's Boz? Okay, this one. We're gonna put Boz and Beat in, I think, probably A tier. Because, oh, right, you can also give Iron Valiant and Moxie with the Crocodile, or Sheer Force with the Feraligatr. I think that's how it works. So, that's just nuts. Next we got Electric's team. Mm-hmm. So Electric's team is it's okay. It's definitely interesting. Like you got Annihilate, which is just in general a great Pokemon on its own. It can't. You got a Galarian Slowking, which a Cyclizar and a Florges as your fusion captains, so just some very bulky Pokemon. That are and if you give a Scizor Regenerator, that is going to because sorry, I'm way out of this. If you give a Scizor Regenerator or Shed Skin, wait a minute, Shift Gear isn't banned. A lot of these Pokemon could indeed be given in some crazy stuff. Ah. Hang on, my thing is being... Okay, yeah, that's better. Okay. Cool, sorry, I just had to double check the, in the thing. Amogus indeed. I am so sorry. This is scuffed. Like, you could give... Scizor Shift Gear would be interesting, but I think it's a little less impactful. But well, Annihilate with Shift Gear sounds horrifying, honestly. There's Florges, which I mean, it's a Florges. It's gonna do Florges things. This seems like a very bulky team overall from Electric, and I don't know how to feel about it. However, that said, I also don't know that much about as much about Infinite Fusion as I probably should. Florges is definitely interesting. I mean, you could go bulky with a Brute Bonnet, I guess, and never die and never be statused. If I'm assuming it works that way. Shedskins, a Regenerator, Scizor. All of this kind of sounds scary, not gonna lie. I think I don't know where I put this. I'm gonna be honest. I have no clue where to put this. Probably. I think objectively, this draft probably isn't that great because like you got like a huge speed gap between Cyclizar and then your next fastest Pokemon is I'm pretty sure Sigilif, and I don't know how fast Sigilif is. Uh. uh Excuse me for a moment. Sigilif is 97, so yeah, your speed gap, you got a fairly big speed gap between Cyclizar and Sigilif, which is not really all that great. Now, granted, if you fuse with Cyclizar, your speed does go up a little bit, so I think that is certainly something to consider. However, I think I'm gonna have to put this team even the. I think I'm gonna put it in B conservatively, but we'll have to see how it goes. Goes from there. Up next is Lucas. Okay, so Lucas is very. So immediately I see a Latios and an Urshifu, and there's a Licky Tongue for some reason. I don't know why. I respect it for sure. You got Latios, obviously an amazing Pokemon. And if you can give anything even somewhat similar to Latios' stats or some of its move pool, that is insane. And we did just see a Latios Archaludon sweep somebody. So, like 6-0 somebody off lead. So that is certainly scary. Giving any... I do have to check the move bands. Okay. Hey, so giving... Oh, a Drapion with Wicked Blow, and only weak to ground would definitely be terrifying. But I think it would still be fighting Dark instead of Poison Dark. I don't know how that works exactly, I'm gonna be honest, but you got some nice bulk with the team with like Slowbro. Oh, this is I don't know if Slowbro gets teleport. I should open up Pokeathlon for these. Okay. Pokeathlon. Wait, hang on. There's a link in the Regi doc, isn't there? Yep. Oh, it does become Poison Dark. Okay. So that is definitely... So yeah, only having one weakness, that Urshifu Drapion could be nasty, but also... Oh, okay, I don't know what some of these Pokemon's moves are. I'm a little clueless when it comes to Infinite Fusion, I'm gonna be honest. So this is gonna be kind of scuffed with this one. Are y'all on the National Dex version, or are y'all on a... Wait, I can just look at the dock. Lantern, come on. Stop being so clueless. I didn't realize. Is there a draft thing on here? I am so confused. Left hand side, very bottom. Oh! Oh wait, no, that's Natdex. Is it Natdex or is it regular? Oh, wait. Oh wait, it's Sigilus, so yes, it'd be Natdex. Duh. I am so sorry. um. Anyway, the unironically, I don't really. I could see the Lickitung. I could see it coming. I could also see something terrifying if the Urshifu fused with the Rampardos. I do not want to see an attack stat that is that sky high running Wicked Blow. That sounds horrifying. And then Latios, of course, gives the special Pokemon options to also be stronger. And this seems like an overall solid team, I will say. I don't... I think I'm gonna put it in... It looks a little better than Electric Steam to me, from on a glance, because also not only can the fusions do things, the Pokemon themselves also seem really solid. There is a little bit of a speed gap from Urshifu to Latios, but that particular speed gap is honestly like fine. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I didn't even consider, Club. Wicked Blow Sniper, that would make for an incredibly strong on Pokemon that would not want to face whatsoever. I think we'll put this honestly A tier. Like the two fusions of Latios and Urshifu are just really really good. I would imagine. Although some of these are actually no high B for now. I'm trying to be a little conservative here. Up next, Shuriken. And immediately there is a fusion in Captain Xurkitree on my screen. And there's a Haxorus. And an Ursaluna. Okay, so first off, I would like to say, whose bright idea was it to allow him to fuse a Haxorus? Because if you... Okay, there's also an Ursaluna on this team. You fuse a Haxorus with an Ursaluna. I'm pretty sure it's possible... Is it possible to get Dragon Ground with fusing a Haxorus with an Ursaluna? Because if it is, I would not want to face this thing at all. Oh, because, like, it would just do so much damage. yes, Belly Drum is banned, which is pretty good, but also, which is nice. So, like, you don't get any Belly Drum Haxalunas, but you also get Guts attached to that. And I don't know about you guys, but Guts on an Ursaluna Haxorus fusion, that's gotta have, like, Sky High attack already. That sounds horrifying. Also, you could give the any of the thing. You also. Xurkitree has insane special attack, so you could give Comfy Tail Glow. And Beast. Well, no, not Beast Boost, because if you gave it Beast Boost, honestly, that would be honestly that would kind of ruin Comfy's whole thing. I think. And also got another very bulky team. Like, there isn't really a whole lot of speed going on here. Like, I think Xurkitree is... Yeah, Xurkitree's 83. And then... Hisui and Sneasel, Comfy... Hisui and Sneasel is his fastest Pokemon. Then Comfy. Then... And Haxorus, then Xurkitree. Which is fine, I guess. But also, the team is just in general a little slow and possibly a little passive, depending. Oh, wait, you use a Xurkitree with a Blossom, you get Quiver Dance. Oh my gosh. Quiver Dance Xurkitree. Jeez. I might... I still don't know for sure what to do with this one. I think, though, Deoxys defense with, like, the teleport and stuff as well, that also looks kind of nice. I think I'm going to tentatively put it up in B tier here. I think it's a little... I think the extra offense would gives it an edge in this case over, like, Electric's team, which is power-wise. So I think that this is probably up next. Also, once again, I have no clue what powder does. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, it's nuts. But so I'm putting it over Electric. Wait, hang on, isn't Tail Glow banned? Or am I tripping? Quiver Dance isn't, which is certainly interesting, actually. Yeah, I'm still... Wait, what? Yeah, all of that, it sounds really good. I think I'm still gonna put it in B for now, but I would be down to have my mind changed. Like, I could see my mind being changed. Up next is Strando. Did I put it on there? Yeah, I did. Okay. So yeah, Strando has a very interesting team right there. Here, a Fusion Kamalo sounds nuts. I'm pretty sure... Yeah, Clangorous Soul isn't banned, so... Good luck with that. Clangorous... You can't... Can you fuse Fusion Captains with other Fusion Captains? I am pretty sure we've already seen Clangorous Soul, Porygon Z with Boom Burst do some insane things. And that does not surprise me. Screamtail Toxapex sounds very annoying to deal with. This team is another very bulky team, once again. But I think this one also... I'd say this one is a bit more balanced instance-wise, though. considering you've got a Darkrai, you've still got a lot of wall breakers as well. So I think that will give him an edge over a fair few of these other teams with a little less offenses to them. Poison Heal Gliscor, of course, annoying as ever. Screamtail could provide him with almost everything except for like Will-O-Wisp, except for a select few things. And any ice players, are you guys allowed to fuse the fusion captains? Are you allowed to fuse fusion captains together? That's kind of the big thing I'm wondering here. Also, how come Darkrai's allowed to fuse, but it's not allowed to Terra? What's with that, huh? Anyway, I'm nitpicking. Darkrai Gliscor also sounds like a very potent fusion, because you got Poison Heal, and then you've also got some you're very fast, and you've got and then you've got Dark Pulse Earth Power, or which is really difficult to resist. And you've got Darmanitan as well, which is another, which you could also fuse with Darkrai for some insane damage output. Like, overall, honestly, this team actually hits a lot harder than I gave it credit for. Also, you could give the Darkrai Quiver Dance with Vivillon. Why? Stop it. That's actually an even better fusion than Darkrai Gliscor or Darkrai Vivillon. Honestly, I think this is our next A-tier team. Actually, I think Lucas is better. I think I like Lucas no, I think I like Strandos more. Okay, up next, Lobulus. So, we got a Roaring Moon right here, which is already intriguing. We got Roaring Mid right in front of us. We got a Hatterini, and Registeel, Golisopod, Mamoswine, Brambleghast, Zapdos, and Cloth, Emboar, and Snorlax, and Arbok as well, I guess. So, immediately what stands out to me is, honestly, first off, why would you fuse... I know you can choose any ability other than Emergency Exit with Golisopod, so that is already kind of huge. Hatterene Zapdos sounds kind of interesting, actually. Or Hatterene Roaring Moon as well, but more so for me is you could probably be a fairly viable mixed attacker, I think. If I can look at the fusions on here, can't I? Hatterene Roaring Moon. Yeah, you got some decent speed, and you got great on both offenses. You could probably run decent... actually, that's not as great as I thought. What if I flip it? I think I remember something saying we're allowed to flip it. Okay, if we flip it, then it just gets worse. Glycopod Mammoth is honestly interesting. You get a lot of priority. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you also get some nice earthquake coverage. Glycopod's a very interesting fusion captain, though, I will say. Now, it looks like the unfortunate thing with Glycopod is that it does not get U-turn, and stab U-turn is one of the best reasons to use a bug type, in my opinion. It's one of the most powerful tools a physical bug type can wield, is stab U-turn, and stab first impression as well, but U-turn is specifically. Hatterene Zapdos does sound interesting, but also you get a lot slower, but you do also become really, really strong, so that might be worth it. Honestly, I'm kind of interested to see where he takes this. This might... I don't know that I would really love using it personally, but I'm interested to see where he would take this. Yes, and also, for everyone watching, feel free to make fun of my rankings as much as you want. This goes for any format that I am currently doing. So, because of that, I'm honestly gonna give it... So, because of how... So, currently... So, I'm gonna give it a tentative C, just because I don't know exactly what it's supposed to do together. The speed tiers are filled out fairly well, except there is like a gap between Zapdos and Roaring Moon, but that's fine, honestly. It's probably workable. Well, I'm gonna give it a C. Alright. Ariane up next. Oh, I'm gonna need to move my We're going through these surprisingly quickly. I'm gonna need to zoom out with this one a little bit in just a second. Ariane with the Zero Aura, which is very interesting to say the least. I think Zero Aura is, of course, fast. It's a great fast electric type. One of the only electric types with good physical electric stab that is consistent. Plasma Fists is, of course, a pretty decent move. Got Excalibur as well. If you give that thing speed, it is going to sweep you, probably, in some way. You get the nice Bolt Beam stabs. Stabs with, like, Plasma Fists, and then Icicle Crash, Icicle Spear, something like that. Enamorous Rabombi is actually... No, Enamorous Xatu is honestly the most interesting to me. Because if I remember correctly, Because, as first off, you give Enamorous actual Flying Stab, which it would love. But also Magic Bounce sounds nuts. Or you give Magic Bounce to Vaporeon, and it becomes even more annoying. And these Pokemon actually... I think the biggest thing is that they all have some abilities. Is that these particular fusions have abilities that would benefit a lot of their other Pokemon. And I think I like that about this one. The speed tiers are fairly well filled out. There is a speed gap between Zero Aura and Rabombi, but that's a Zero Aura. You're not going to be able to get anything that's going to go well in between that. And Rabombi, honestly, is already fast, like, if you just had Rabambi as your fastest Pokemon, it would also just be fine. So I don't think filling out the speed tier there. Well, I like that Rabambi is here, and then you can Quiver Dance Enamorus. Oh gosh, Quiver Dance Enamorus. Yeah. That's the note I'm gonna leave you on. On Ariane's looks fairly. It looks a lot more offensive, I think, than a lot of the other teams we've seen so far. But I do think that it is certainly something. I don't know how fast Zatu. How fast is Zatu? 95. And there is another bit of a speed gap from Rabambi to Enamorus, and then Enamorus to Zatu is actually fine. And like you can live with that one pretty easily. Zatu to Excalibur, yeah. The only real speed gap apps are Zero Order Rabambi and then Rabambi to Enamorus, but I think that's workable, honestly. Cursula is also. It's very interesting, to say the least. I think I'm gonna put it in a. I think I'm gonna put Ariane's team in B tier right behind Lucas, I think. I'm gonna move Lucas up to A tier. Because this team certainly has some very strong points. I don't think the lows are too ridiculously low. I'm gonna try to speed this up a little bit so we can get, because we got 4 divisions to get through, and I do not have all the time in the world. Froggerman, that is up next. We got the round 1 Conkeldurr, which, okay, that's interesting. My question is, how do the masks work with fusions? Is my question. Like, does the fusion have to wear the mask? And does the mask still give the boost? That's the big thing that I want to know right now. Hang on. Alright, after we rank Froggerman's team, I'm actually gonna go get a drink of water, and I'll be back after that. But Entei Basculegion sounds pretty interesting. Entei Conkeldurr also sounds horrifying. Giving Conkeldurr, well, it would be stab, so I guess there's that. I think the biggest threat is I think the biggest threat is honestly Entei Diancie. Because you still got a strong extreme speed and sacred fire, but in addition you have a lot more bulk to you, and you're a little slower, but I think that's honestly worth. You don't have any like major speed gaps here either. Your fastest being Ogerpon is unfortunate, but it is what it is. This team is a lot more offensive in general, but you've also got Pokemon like Cresselia, Galarian Moltres, and Hisui and Gudra. So I'd say this is a solid balanced team you got here. And then fusions, of course, can turn everything on their heads. And, Basculegion in giving adaptability to anything sounds kind of scary. Like adaptability, Sacred Fires, well, no, actually, it can't give adaptability to anything. I mixed up who is the fusion captain. I think this team is a solid B. Maybe no, I think it's C. Honestly, is it C? Uh, no. Wait, I was just talking. No, no. This is like high B. Right. I'm gonna put it right below Ariane, but I could have my mind. No, I'm gonna put it like right there. They're right above Electric's team. I think that's Electric's team. All right, I'm gonna go get a drink of water. I need it, and I'll be right back. The streamer didn't even come prepared with water himself. Unprofessional streamer SMH. Anyway, up next we got John Paul. So Stack Attack fusing with anything is going to skyrocket his defense. Walking Wake fusing with anything is going to turn it into a Sun Nuke. And Thunderous Incarnate is just an, in general, fantastic Pokemon. On Thunderous Meowscarada or Thunderous Hoopa, honestly, kind of scare me a fair bit. Because you got Defiant, and then you've got Prankster as well. And some of these Pokemon have really good moves that Prankster they would like to use with priority. Like, you thought Priority Thunder Wave was annoying? No, Priority Glare from Drampa. You've also got Stack Attacka with taunt with which just it's insane. It's nuts. Stack Attacka Clodsire sounds very annoying to break through. But overall, I think it's an interesting team for sure. The Hoopa Unbound round one is also interesting. I personally don't really put too much stock in Hoopa Unbound. It's like a powerful wall breaker, but it just folds to U-turn. Like every step of the way. So I don't really love that. Stack Attacka Drampa could be interesting. This whole team looks very interesting. I am excited to see what he does with it, but I think the team is very well balanced overall, fusions aside. I don't know what fuse fun you could really have with this aside from like no retreat, eat Thunderous, or walking wake or something like that. But in all honesty, I'm excited to see it. But I still think that John Paul. I still am going to put this in C tier, right above of Lows. Jace is next. Next, we got a Fusion Captain Sylveon, because, of course, Fusion Tornadus and Fusion Greninja. Now, Fusion Greninja sounds nuts. I'm pretty sure... Yeah, there's no Protean ban. And so that is certainly a thing. Pixelate Boomburst Noivern. That is all I have to say on the matter. Okay, no. Realistically, this looks like a very, very strong team. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of Hoopa. I'm not the biggest fan of Hoopa, Unbound or otherwise. Guys, I think it definitely has more of a merit here than Hoopa Unbound. Although Hoopa Unbound still sounds insane with fusions, I think this team overall just has a better kind of just general structure. Or to take advantage, like, you do definitely enjoy a Ghost Psychic Wallbreaker like Hoopa on your team. Or Ghost Fairy, you know, be slow Flutter Mane. And Greninja is, of course, historically one of the best. In Generation 9 specifically, it's one of the best Draft League Pokemon out there. It unironically got buffed in Draft League when Battle Bond and Protean were nerfed. Which is already kind of nuts. Dragon Dance Tornadus with Defiant. Yeah. I think Iron Thorns gets Earth Power. So, unless I'm mistaken... Yeah. Yeah, it does. So, you could probably just go Sylveon and then spam Pixelate 8 Hyper Voice and then Earth Powers, and then nothing can resist that because Fairy Ground is a perfectly complementary stab combination. And everything every single type that resists Fairy, you know, your Poison, your Fire, and your Steel are all hit super effectively by Ground. So that combination is one of the best out there. I think I'm gonna put this team in a... Honestly, I'm gonna put this team A tier. You're right behind the Iron Valiant. Like, everything on here just looks like it would do something crazy and annoying. Like, I didn't get the Noivern at first, but then I saw Pixelate Hyper Voice. Sorry, Pixelate Boomburst. That is a ridiculously powerful stab move. Like, what switches into Pixelate Boomburst? Oh, wait. Up next, we got Ollie Boy. Wait, Tinglu, Urshifu, Araquanid. First off, is Water Bubble banned? Water Bubble is not banned. That is a Water Bubble Surging Strikes Urshifu Rapid Strike. That is busted. What? I ask you, how? Like, I don't Honestly, I don't even think Araquanid needs to fuse with anything else beyond Urshifu and maybe occasionally Masquerain. I don't see Araquanid fusing with anything else. No, because those are just honestly they're probably objectively the best partners for Araquanid. Water Bubble is a nuts ability, and that would give Masquerain extra water stab, and it makes Urshifu immune to burn as well. Like this is a nutty ability and Pokemon combination. And of course, we haven't even gotten to a Flashfire Iron Treads or a Flame Body Iron Treads. It's a Flame Body Flapple. Well, no, probably not a Flame Body Flapple. But Beads of... Okay. Tablets of Ruin Pecharunt sounds so annoying. Like, I cannot think of a more annoying Pokemon to face than Pecharunt on its own. But when fused with Ting-Lu, that sounds like a nightmare to deal with. If, honestly... And Kilowattrel definitely appreciates Earth Power from Heatran. And because, again, Ground Flying is another very complementary stab combination. You've got... the types that resist flying are rock, steel, and electric. All of those are weak to ground. So again, another almost perfectly complementary stab combination. Well, not stab combination necessarily, but you do Ting-Lu Kilowattrel actually, if Ting-Lu gets Earth Power. Or that sounds like another crazy one. Yes, Ting-Lu does get Earth Power. So, Stab Hurricane, Stab Earth Power, that plus competitive, that just sounds nutty. So, I'm gonna put this team, honestly, I'm gonna move Jace's team up to S tier, and I'm gonna put Ollie Boys in A tier behind the Iron Valiant. Because I just think that it's just that. Up next is Trey. So Trey has a Terracurum. Stop telling me my team is weak to Curum. But in this case, the team is not weak to Curum. It is weak to literally everything else. Like, okay, so first off, I see Victini. Is V-Create banned? No, it is not. Okay. And, Slacking is, of course, banned, because, yeah. But, okay, you've got Regenerator Slowking, which compare with Jirachi. Jirachi is annoying enough with Serene Grace Iron Heads. Imagine how annoying it would be if it had Regenerator. Or with potentially a water... No, I don't think it becomes Water Steel, but... Glamour is just in general pretty great Pokemon. I would say. Now, Mega Curum sounds very, very busted, not gonna lie. Because you've got Earth Power, I know Speed Boost is banned. Like, Speed Boost is indeed banned. So there's no, like, Speed Boost shenanigans involved. However, Ice is already a very strong... Ice Beam and Draco Meteor are already very strong moves. You fuse a Kyurem with a Yen Mega, you give it Tinted Lens. I'm pretty sure that's allowed. Yeah, that's allowed. That's just honestly broken. And like you don't even need to run anything other than like Draco Meteor or Ice Beam or whatever. You're just blasting through absolutely everything with the choice specs. Next, this team seems to work pretty well together overall. Also, I would say you got the Rillaboom Hawlucha for like the grassy surge on burden sets. You got decent you got some nice hazards with Glamora. Zangoose is interesting, honestly. And I don't know anything else about it in this other than it's just kind of interesting. Nice low tier breaker, I guess. Trey, I'm gonna put your team probably over in. I'm gonna put your team in a solid B tier. You're kinda right above Froggerman. Excuse me. Up next, we have Porpoise. Fun fact, Porpoise and I are technically... Never mind. I'm not actually going to finish that. That's just a fun thing. Anyway. We got Gouging Fire right there. Dragon Dance is busted. You got a Spothra, which is an interesting choice, to say the least. Considering a Spothra doesn't have Speed Boost in this. I don't even know what his other abilities are beyond Speed Boost, because I know it has Opportunist. Opportunist, Frisk, and Speed Boost. Okay. So that's definitely very interesting, and I do recognize Lumina Crash is a very good move for a Pokemon. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, Bloop. Like, I think it's definitely a decent, like, budget fusion captain for sure. Golden Go, if fused with anything, is going to be a pain. Sandy Shocks is also an interesting one. But with Gouging Fire, you get Dragon Dance Lucario or Barraskewda. As if that thing wasn't fast enough already. Yeah. Anyway, all that to say, I still don't really know what to think of this team. Just don't give us Bob for Serene Grace, okay? And don't give it Serene Grace Togekiss, please. You're better than that. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really see the vision, but at the same time, I don't think it's worth a D tier at all. Or a C tier. I don't see the vision, but I do respect it. It also, a Gouging Fire, Unafraid of Priority from the Zarina also sounds really good. Saying anything Unafraid of Priority actually sounds pretty good. Good, you got Roserade and Sandy Shocks are nice hazard setters. There's Zarina, Barraskewda. All these Pokemon are just kind of decent, except the Chatot. The Chatot I don't get. Does Chatot get anything interesting aside from Chatter? It does get Boom Burst, I suppose, and it does get Boom Burst, I guess. But I don't see how that helps any of these guys. So I feel weird putting this team. I feel weird about this team, but I'm not gonna put it. I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna put it like C tier, right up below John Paul. All right, we got Bloop up next. First off, Hisui and Zoroark. Why would you do this? Why would you make Hisui and Zoroark your fusion captain, Bloop? Like, that sounds very, very annoying. Hey, you're fine. For what it's worth, you're fine. That is just... This is coming from the guy who drafted Terra Blaziken, so, like, you're fine. Fine. Zarude. You got a lot of interesting Pokemon for sure. Latias and Celesteela, in particular, sound like really good fusion captains. And Hisui and Zoroark sounds annoying and difficult to play around, especially if you don't know what it's fused as. That is assuming illusion is allowed. And it looked like it was. So, I'm looking at this, and I have to say, honestly, I think the team as a whole, it works pretty well together, honestly, and you've got some decent fusions, but I think you're essentially, how many mods is this? 9. So if you do end up fusing things every week, you're only with, you've basically, if you end up fusing something every week, you do got, oh, gotcha. Okay, that makes a lot more sense then. Still, competitive Latias or like, or Beast Boost Zarude or something like that. Or, honestly, this entire team is terrifying and I would not... Fusions aside, this looks like something... The Pheasant Dippity is a little, I'm not gonna... I've said it a lot on Pheasant Dippity recently. I'm not gonna say any more on it since I'd just be rehashing the same old, same old. It's a decent pivot, I suppose. Which is nice. And it is a fairly good typing, but, like, the stats themselves, you just... But I'm gonna put your Bloop... I think your team's an A tier. I think I'm going probably behind Boomburst Porygon. Brother, that thing is going to do 6%. Like, it does nothing. From my experience. I have used Pheasant Dippity, and it has never done any damage. Any significant damage. Even with Technician. Up next, we got Void. Wait, I'm trying to speed up a little bit so I can get through all these. For the second to last team, Regidrago is really, really good. Iron Moth, that sounds like, well, it's not really, really good. I don't know if Regidrago is worth a round 1 pick here, good sir. Yeah, Bloop. Yeah. Anyway, Dragon Energy Iron Moth. Gotcha. That makes a fair bit of sense, honestly. Okay. Monkey Dory, I have nothing, honestly, I have nothing good to say about Monkey Dory, so I'm not going to say anything. In sheer force, Horse Iron Moth sounds very. Also sounds very strong. On like the Nido King Iron Moth, that fusion sounds kind of underrated. Or I get SMH. You know what, Blue? If you keep whatever. Never mind. Gudra is definitely interesting. I will say, I'm noticing that all three of the fusion captains are very much in a way offensive. If Void, if you are watching this, is because like I don't know exactly what some of these pieces are doing together. I'm gonna be completely honest. It's like what's with the monkey Dory? Why? Again, I'm not gonna say anything more. Just that is true. Gudra does make good fusions with like all of them because it does have some really great coverage on both ends of the spectrum. Because you got like Power Whip, Earthquake, and stuff on the physical side for Galarian Zapdos. Those I think you get Earthquake anyway. Hey, you got Thunderbolt and other. Yeah, the Pokemon with deep move pools tend to make great fusions, is what I've noticed. Is for the most part. I would say I still don't think you really need the Monkey Dory. I'm gonna be honest. It's like, what does the Monkey Dory do for you? You already have a poison type. You already have a psychic type that's powerful. Like, come on. What's the Monkey Dory needed for? I think in general, I think. Oh yeah, that sounds busted. It alternatively, I I offer you Dragon Dance Galarian Zapdos. Yep. The less said about that one, the better. I think I'm gonna put this team in that. I'm gonna put this team down in, I think, B, honestly. I might just remove the D tier, in all honesty, because I don't think I've ever seen anyone, like, go in there. Oh, wait, actually, I'll put you in a high B, kinda between Xurkitree and Kyurem, I think. Alright, last one. We got Necro Wolf. First off, Fusion Mew. With that move pool, that sounds busted. Like, with that thing's move pool, it learns literally every TM in the game. So, like, that's kind of busted. It already is a fusion captain. I do not know why this was allowed. Also, better not. The question actually here is not why it's allowed. The question is, how did it last a back wheel? Yeah, that's fair. Fake one. Necro. You got Milotic, which is a decent fusion. You can fuse Honestly, anything on this list can fuse with Mew very well because it's Mew. Ooh, like it already learns every move in the game. So, like, there's no... How did bro get what? I don't think so, fake one. I don't know. I do not know how it works, honestly. Ah, gotcha. Ah. Uh, Steelix is also an interesting one to me because you can fuse it to make some pretty good type. Like you can make the steel flying combination or the ground flying with Tornadus Therian, and then you also have Regenerator and some insane physical defense. But it does slow you down, which I think on most Pokemon is a bit of a disadvantage. But honestly, I think Steelix Tornadus is actually a pretty decent fusion, and it's actually fine despite the speed loss because as you've got because you're a U-turn pivot is what you are primarily with Regenerator and Tornadus Therian. So the slow part is actually kind of helpful for like draft stuff. Yeah, that too. Like excuse me. And also Magic Guard Milotic sounds annoying as heck. This team looks very, very strong. I think I'm putting it like stats. Yeah. Oh, I noticed that. I have noticed that, Bloop. I will say. Jeez. Honestly, I think the Mew alone is gonna skyrocket this team. Like anything can be fused with Mew, and then the things that are fused with Mew are going to be made better, are usually going to be made better because they're fused with Mew. Okay, that's not as slow as I expected then. But still overall, like if you anything honestly, I think I'm going to give this team is going like top of A tier, honestly. Like maybe even this might be, you know what? I'm putting it in the butt. You know what? I think this is our second S tier just because we've got like this is a bulky team, which I have mentioned I don't normally love using. The speed tiers are actually fine on this one for the most part. Also, Compound Eyes Butterfree. I'm pretty sure it gets Compound Eyes, so you land your Hurricanes. Means Compound Eyes could be very useful if you're fused with Mew. But you're also making your stats a lot worse because you're fusing with a Butterfree, so... Hey, we'll see. Alright, so that's the Ice. So that's Ice. Let's move on to Rock. Ox, since we're putting Necrowolf's probably up in S tier. Oh, also gets Tinted Lens. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. That sounds honestly scary. Alright, so, we're on Regirock now. So this is Generation 5. Gen 5 I actually have some experience with.
If this is mostly like past gen knowledge, but I do have some experience. Like I wasn't around during Gen 5, but I have played it like retroactively. So I do have some knowledge of Generation 5. We got Garchomp. So starting off with Hacker, this is just Gen 5 OU. Ooh, you got the Garchomp, the Kyurem Black, Rotom Wash, Reuniclus. Like, that's all you need. It's just like... Like, come on. It's just Gen 5 OU. Uh, in all honesty, though, I do still I like this team, but I think it's a little... And I think it's really great. But I do think it might struggle a little bit breaking in, like, bulky water types. Just be... I don't... A little bit. We'll get there. I think I'm gonna put this honestly in a. This draft is interesting, but I don't know how I feel about it. I think it's. I'm pretty sure it's one of the better drafts that we'll see. So I'm gonna put it. I will say, this is Gen 5, and you are playing without a good way to set any hazards beyond Stealth Rock. But to be fair, most of the time in this, if rocks go up, they're usually going to stay up because Defog is bad in this generation. Yeah, I could definitely see a Magneton working here, yeah. And this is before Gen 6, so while this team is a little weak to Fairy, it doesn't matter because no Fairy types exist yet. So for all intents and purposes, Cobalion is honestly probably even better here. Here for that reason. I'm gonna put it up in. I think I'm gonna put it up in A tier for now, just to like. But I might move it up or down later. Yeah, bulky waters and steel types. It doesn't struggle with steel types quite as much, but it definitely can struggle with like bulky waters because like Whimsicott is not breaking like half the bulky waters around here, or without like. Now Reuniclus is a great breaker for all intents and purposes, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him get through all of that with like Life Orb, Magic Guard, and stuff. But I think in the meantime, I'm just gonna give him A. I am talking so much. Next up, we got Jelly Jam. So Jelly Jam is kind of interesting. In Jirachi, Infernape, Thundurus, Therian, Scizor, Claydol, Roselia, Aerodactyl, Sableye, Seismitoad, and Bouffalance. I think I like this team a lot, actually. Scizor is really... I like Scizor in particular, just because I'm using Scizor, obviously, but... Oh, absolutely. Now, I think this team is bad? Not at all. And with Jelly Jam, I do like the team a lot. Sableye in this generation has no weaknesses, which makes it even more annoying than ever before. It doesn't get Thunder Wave yet, which is, if I remember correctly. And it had just gotten Prankster. I don't... Aerodactyl is like a fast rocker. Claydol is unironically is also a great removal Pokemon for the most part. Yeah, for the most part, I think Claydol is one of the better spinners you can get around here. Just because, as this is Gen 5, and there aren't really a lot of good spinners beyond, like, Starmie. So he and like maybe hit him on top or something occasionally. I don't know. But there are not a lot of good spinners, and that is the only way to remove hazards in this generation. So I like that he got the Claydol. The Infernape is pretty nice here, for sure. Like, I don't think... the Seismitoad is an interesting pick. It does give him a way to counter the, You mean aside from Excadrill, right? Big one? Ethan? Is that... Like, Excadrill is right there. So it's... But Claydol is still pretty good at that job. Roselia's pretty good at setting hazards. Well, it does the job. It's not, like, good at it, but it does do the job of, like, it sets spikes and toxic spikes, can do okay at T-spike removing. Sableye. Is interesting on this team. I do think I like it. Yeah, it hasn't been banned on the ladder in a long time. They just banned Sandrush. And they think they might have banned Sandforce at one point. Sorry. I think this team is, like, it's pretty good overall. You got some solid breakers and Thunderous Therian and stuff. Scizor is, of course, like, great. In early gens. Jirachi, annoying AF. We all know this. Honestly, I'm a little hesitant to put it in A or S tier, but I want to put it there. I think I'm going to compromise and put it, like, but I think for now I'm still going to put it in... I think I'll put it in B tier for now, but I might change my mind later. Ethan, we got your team next. Politoed, Manaphy, Blastoise. I do have to remember that this is before Blastoise got Shell Smash, because it didn't for some reason for a while. Gliscor is a little interesting in this, because I think for a while there was a time where it couldn't have Protect and Poison Heal, or like Roost and Poison Heal, I guess is what it was. Yeah, it was Roost and Poison Heal, but I think it can now, so that's fine. Ferroseed is your Steel type is unfortunate to say the least. Magic Bounce Espeon. You've got a Rain team, and your Rain is going to go pretty much uncontested for the most part. Because weather is kind of busted here. That being said, it is weather. So, yeah, Blastoise is, like, okay at it. I'd have to put Moltres without heavy duty in a generation without heavy duty boots is kind of questionable, to be honest. So, because, like, Stealth Rocks are everywhere, and you do really gotta remove them before Moltres can really hit the field and do its job well. So I'm gonna put it in the, So I'm gonna put the team in B tier. Right. That is true. So you're gonna go top of B tier here for now, but I might move you up later. No, you're an A tier. Screw it. Uh, Inversify. Alright, Excadrill, one of the best spinners around. The hazard game is a little weak on your end, Ethan. That's kind of why I'm not putting it in S tier. Like, not in terms of removal, but in terms of, like, setting it. Ah, gotcha. Okay, that's who you are. Okay. uh, Inversify, I actually really... I don't know how to feel about this team. Because, like, Slowking can't really pivot or anything, but it is still, like, a decent bulky water with, like, some decent coverage and Thunder Wave and stuff. Rose Raid, an excellent hazard setter. Or for like spikes and toxic spikes. Gengar's is like not really great as a spin blocker, but it is okay all things considered. I personally love being Xiao. Just cause it's me and Xiao. It's cool. Regenerator makes a great combination with like Life Orb and stuff. Regenerator Assault Vest was a thing that people ran back in the day. Hydreigon also seems very scary in a general... It's a lot less scary now than I think it... Well, no, it's more scary now despite both of its stabs being walled by steel types than it would be in like Gen 6 when both stabs are walled by fairy instead. Miltank, you got... I don't know what if Miltank gets anything this generation that's like particularly useful. Well, it does have Thick Fat and Scrappy, which are useful stuff. Heal Bell. And okay, it does get some. It does still get the useful utility moves. It's just the general blob of wall, and it gets rocks. I did not know that it got Stealth Rock. So I think I'm gonna put the team. I think I'm gonna put the team also a. I think I'm gonna put the team in A tier. It just feels very solidly well rounded overall. All the hazard game is honestly a little weak. No, it's great. Like the hazard game's great. This team is great, honestly. Yeah, honestly, this might be an S tier team. But hang on, I'm trying to figure out if there's a reason this isn't S tier. Probably, it would probably be because Gengar's the fastest Pokemon, and Gengar is a little limited. Well, I don't know about limited, but it might just be that Gengar is his fastest Pokemon, honestly. But I think that's fine because it's Gen 5 and there are a lot less like faster things that can screw you over. So honestly, I'm gonna put the team in S tier. This is now I might be completely tripping, but it looks great to me. Cobra. We got you up next. We got Cobra next. Landorus, Syrian, Ferrothorn, Cloyster, Victini. I wonder where I've seen that before. I know Cloyster gets Rapid Spin in this generation, I think, but I don't think it's very good at that job because, first off, it's weak to Stealth Rock, which is not ideal for your hazard remover, and which is why I think Hitmontop makes sense here. because you don't want to be weak to the rocks you are trying to remove, and Hitmontop would kind of does that. And it resists the rocks and everything. You got great hazard setters in Ferrothorn as well as Drapion. On Landorus, just all around great Pokemon. Victini is an excellent wall breaker. Yeah, that's what I thought, Cobra. Uh, Cloyster actually got banned recently from BWOU, so I'm for just being so like, hey, that's fair. I will say I am very intrigued to see Gen 5 Cloyster put in work, because I know it will, because it was broken for like for a while, but I also don't know if that's gonna carry over in Draft League. There's no Mirror Herb yet, so like nothing can stop the Shell Smash. So there is that. Um, got check. I'm gonna put. Oh, this team seems decent overall. Jolteon seems a little awkward, but I do But I do think it's definitely worth something good against like a lot out of the water types that are going around. Honestly, I'm gonna give this team a B. I think this team is like solid. Probably. I think I'm gonna. I think I'm gonna put the team in B tier for the now. It looks no A tier. Just so many of you. Why do you all have to draft good teams? Why can't there be some middle of the road teams? Come on, man. I'll put you like bottom of A, top of B. Next up we got Checkmate. Sorry, I'm trying to move through these quicker so I can, get this done before things happen. Yeah, probably. We got Weavile. Weavile is actually kind of, I think it's like middle of the road this generation for the most part, because knockoff is kind of, yeah, like it hasn't been buffed or anything yet this generation. So immediately I disagree with like the round one Weavile. Yes, like knockoff is still useful, but it's a lot less useful on Weavile specifically, because it's so frail that it can't, like in Gen 5, from what I've seen, most knockoff users are like a little more on the bulky side, and Weavile's kind of like frail. It's very frail. What am I saying? So I don't see it really putting in a lot of work in Gen 5, but I could definitely be proved wrong. Donphan is a decent spinner, or for a decent price. Tentacruel is a much better spinner, in all honesty. You got Skarmory for good hazard setting. Terrakion is like really, really good. In this generation. This was Terrakion's peak. Salamence is very interesting. Did Salamence have access to Moxie yet? I don't. Did Salamence have access to Moxie yet? Yes, it did. Okay. So like Mence is probably busted here. Sorry. The Azelf's a decent like stealth rock lead. likes to blow itself up. There's a Rotom form. Shuckle is certainly there. Overall, this team is like pretty solid, and I would give it like a. I'm gonna put it high B. I think is what I'm gonna do. All right. Up next, we got Takua. So we started off with Tyranitar, our great start, and then the rest of the team is oh my gosh. I gotta see something. Rock dashboard. Uh, okay, that is a Sheer Force Landorus Incarnate in Generation 5. So, I'd say this team is going to be real busted. Hang on. Oh wait, that is not? Then where did it say the complex ban? It doesn't say that on the rules. Oh wait, it's the note on the Pokemon themselves, isn't it? Hang on. Yep, okay, never mind. So then in that case it makes sense. I am so dumb. Yeah, I'm stupid. Jellicent is like one of the best spin blockers in Black and White, if I remember correctly. Fortress is a decent spinner in Black and White. Alakazam is excellent in Life Orb, Magic Guard. And then Magic Guard, Focus Sash and stuff. Breloom is Breloom's interesting. I'm pretty sure hang on. I gotta see a thing. What are the stats on Spore? Oh, what's the status on Spore in Gen 5? Are y'all just not playing with it? Oh, yep, any sleep-inducing move. Yep, I see it. Okay. Scolipede doesn't have speed boost yet, which is very unfortunate. Overall, though, I think this team... And then you got Heatran. I think this team is very, very good. Like, I would say this might be an S tier. Just because you've got so many, like, honestly, though, is it S tier? I'm not sure. I think it is. Yeah, Quick Feet as a poison type is as a physical poison type specifically is unfortunate. I'm gonna put it bottom of S tier. Thunderbug, we got your team next. Dragonite, Starmie, Volcarona, Clefable. What? Oh my gosh. So, to be clear, Volcarona is a little more iffy in this generation than it is in a lot of other generations if you don't have a good rapid spinner. And he got one of the best, And you got one of the best rapid spinners out there. Yeah, the team. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I might move it down to just A then. Uh, this does look like a very solid team. This Clefable's also just honestly Clefable's really good, but I'm not I'm not the biggest fan of Clefable, but it's definitely really good. Uh uh I think I'm gonna put I think in the you do have one of the best spinners in like Starmie. And Starmie is also very threatening offensively with analytic. It can be bulky spinner with natural cure. Their multi-scale Dragonite is insane. It does I could see it for sure. I think the top four are insane, but I do think it falls off a little bit after that. In all honesty. See, if he's going to use the Hail Core with multi-scale, if he's going to use the Hail Core, he's probably not running multi-scale D-Knight. Like, that's just a thing. That's just like... Yeah. It does counter his own multi-scale, yes, but he's probably not going to be bringing them both at once. I'm going to put Thunderbug's team in, also in A tier. Honestly, maybe I'm gonna put it top of B because like the top four are great. I just feel like everything else falls off a little bit after that. All right, pool two. What's Pampy? E. Garchomp, Infernape, Slowbro, Curum, Zapdos, Registeel, Cofagrigus, Isisselgor, Skuntank, Simisage. This is insane. Oh, right, because Inner Focus is bad in this generation, right? It doesn't ignore Intimidate yet. God, I forgot. Uh, Garchomp's a really good like breaker and hazard setter. Infernape is just all around good mix Pokemon. Fast pivot. Zapdos the same. Aim. I don't know if Zapdos has access to static yet. It does not. Okay, so it is just like Zapdos with like root. It's just gonna be Zapdos without static. Okay. And Registeel is interesting. It does have Seismic Toss still, I think, which is right. They don't. Right. Uh, let's see. Zapdos, yeah. I really like this team. I think it works for the most part pretty well together. Like you got, I will say, I don't know. I think Slowbro kind of just sits there for the most part in Gen 5. It kind of just sits there because, like, and like, I guess it scalds, but I think this team is like great. I think this team is actually really, really good. But I have to, I think, put it. Oh wait, that is the wrong team. Wait, that's the wrong team. It's not just you who can't see those well. I can't really see those very well either. Okay, there it is. Yeah. B tier. Yeah, that's kind of why I'm putting it kind of at the bottom of B tier. In Gen 5, a fighting resist is downright necessary. Uh, you got. Alright, up next we got El Gino. Or El Gino, I guess? Uh, Excadrill, Volcarona, Tentacruel. Hazards are never staying up against this team whatsoever. Or you got Glare Superior. Is pretty nice for this team overall because it's a little bit on the slower side. That's fair. uh, Curum Black is certainly there. That is a good question. His pool was they were doing stuff. Let's say that. Excadrill. Like again, this hazards are not staying up on this team between Excadrill and Tentacruel. Which is gonna really let Volcarona and Curum Black do some very annoying things. Mandibuzz is like pretty decent wall. Oh, Cobalion is great. And no they didn't fake no they didn't, Ethan. It's round 3. Yeah. uh I think this team is very solid, a little on the bulkier side, but I think Glare Superior definitely helps the team with its slight issue that it has with speed. And I think this is like a solid team overall. Oh, I'd put this one up in A, I think. Wait, maybe I wouldn't because the team doesn't have like a good like physical breaker. Because like Curum Black is just like, well, no, Cure Black's... What am I saying? Cure Black is right there. Yeah, I'm gonna move it up to A tier, I think. Just because... It seems like pretty good overall. Yeah, I don't know why I thought differently. Next is Ace. We got Manaphy, Politoed, Thunderous, Fortress, Crocodile, Azelf, Haxorus, Duxnoir, Regice, and Wigglytuff. Don't think much of the Wigglytuff, because, no fairy typing yet, so it is, even after fairy typing, Wigglytuff was still garbage. It's a typical rain team for the most part, without Tentacruel and with Crocodile, and with, like, Fortress as the spinner instead, which I think is fine. Like, Fortress definitely can spin. It can also function as, like, hazards. Actually, the problem with Fortress on this team is, on this team specifically, like, rocks, it can afford to drop, but, like, if you want to run spikes, then you're kinda... Yeah, you're not doing so hot out there. Like, Fortress is going to struggle to fit all the moves that it wants on this team. Manaphy is, of course, going to be busted with Politoed. Well, not, like, busted, but, like, it's going to be really, really good. Good. I think this team is, like, solid overall. It's very physically oriented, is the thing. But there is also some powerful special stuff to go with it. Wait a second. Do I see a double? Not gonna lie, I thought I saw a double. I thought I saw a double. Wait, Tailglow was banned from Manaphy? Interesting. Yeah, I know this was 2 pools of 8. That's not what I was... I just thought I was seeing, like, like a carbon copy of another draft or something. No, it's not. Uh, I'd still say this team is, like, a solid overall, but it, like, kind of struggles a little bit. I think it's this one. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in B. I'm gonna put it, like, top of B, right below Thunderbug. You know what? I'll move it, like, A tier, bottom. Next up, we got Toast. Yeah. Yeah, that part's busted. Alright, we got Toast next. Tyranitar, Landorus, Alakazam, Ferrothorn, Jellicent, Nidoking, Druddigon, Vullaby. Vullaby is the only thing holding this team back. So I think I have to put it in it. Like, Vullaby could be swapped for, like, maybe a different 2-pointer, But that is, I think, all that he really needs. Because, like, he only has 2 Pokemon weak to ground. He has, like, he has an immunity, and, like, Ferrothorn basically resists ground at most ground moves. Like, I don't see a lot that this team would struggle with. This team is insane. Like, all things considered, like, this might be an S tier team. I think this team is an S tier team. Like, it's got Sandstorm might be annoying for it if it in some circumstances, but I think for the most part it is. But I don't think it's going to be like the worst thing in the world. This might be like the best team we've seen so far, not gonna lie. Like, you got Hitmontop to spin, you got Jellicent to spin block, you got Ferrothorn to set up spikes, Ike's Nidoking for, like, rocks and toxic spikes if necessary, Alakazam's a strong special breaker, T-Tar's a strong physical breaker and setup sweeper, or Landorus is the same. So, all of that combines to just make aka yeah, that is like rain teams are like the only team that's like problematic, but like even rain teams still have to get through Ferrothorn and Jellicent. So like it's still not going to be easy. Like that is top of S tier team right there. Up next, we got Pluto. Oh, with oh, we got Landorus, Istherian, Rotom Wash. We got Landorus, Therian, Rotom Wash, Weavile, Mienshao, Victini, Scizor, Garbodor, Whimsicott, Mismagius. I think this team is like it's okay for sure. I think it might actually be pretty good. The Weavile again, I'm still hesitant to trust in for Gen 5. Like I'm hesitant to trust Gen 5 Weavile. Landorus Therian is of course Landorus Therian. I've said a lot about most of these Pokemon. I think they work together fairly well, all things considered. Like Mismagius, nice spin blocker, levitate Pokemon. On Whimsicott, like has some decent prankster utility. But I think that I think this team is like just solid like B or B tier for the most part. Yeah, I'm I'm gonna say it's like top of B, but uh, E for now, just because primarily because I don't like Weavile in Gen 5, and I don't know what Garbodor does. Up next we got Ducky. Ducky has a nutty team. Well, not a nutty team. Like it's Oh wait, yeah, it is a nutty team. What am I saying? Dang, you got Jirachi, Dragonite, Starmie, Breloom, Frostless, Snorlax, Gliscor, Rotom, and Muck. That sounds pretty darn good. Uh, sorry, I had to check Discord real quick. I'm being pinged. Uh, Ducky's, this team is nuts. Like, Poison Heal Gliscor, or Technician Breloom, with like Mach Punch and stuff. You got Starmie, one of the best, like, probably the second best spinner in the game in Gen 5. Dragonite, Jirachi are also really, really good. This team sets hazards and removes them pretty well. It's got a fair bit of bulk to it, so you can't, like, so you're going to have to kind of wear some of it down over time. But this team can also just run you over before it wears you down. Like, this is a solid top of A tier, bottom S tier team, I think. Next is Keith. Keith decided to go Hippowdon, which is very interesting. Reuniclus is really great. In a Pokemon, you got with like Magic Guard, Life Orb, stuff like that. We've talked about Reuniclus and Skarmory. All of these Pokemon are definitely fairly good. There's a Clefable here, which again, I don't love Clefable in general, but I think that it is still a great Pokemon. All things considered. Blastoise is a great spinner for this point. You got good hazard or laying and good. This is a very bulky team overall. Yeah, you're kind of right there. Keith's team does look a little weird. I'm gonna say C tier, just because I don't really. No, I think it's better than C tier. What am I saying? Like, it's got a lot of good points to it for sure. Like, I think I'll put a B tier. No, wait, we need something in C tier. Keith, sorry, you're going in there. uh, sorry, I'm trying to move through these a little more quickly. Yeah, Reuniclus and Hydreigon are the only, like, immediate power he's got. Next we move on to Hawaiian Shaman. Heatran, Dustox. No. Heatran, Donphan, and Roserade, Vaporeon, Zoroark, Jolteon, Conkeldurr, Dusclops, Swoobat, and Salamence. This team looks really, really good. Dry passes allowed, right? Like, I think I remember dry pass is allowed, right? Just double checking. I can check the rules. What am I saying? Okay, yeah, dry baton pass is. Yeah, it is. Okay. In that case, honestly, this might be another S tier team because, like, It does fall off a little bit towards the end, but I think overall this team is like very, very good. I think I'm gonna put it there. All right. I'm gonna go get a drink before we move on to Steel. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little afraid to do Steel because I know I know several people who might make fun of me if I get several of these like objectively wrong. I mean that's fair. Yeah, probably is more top of A, but yeah, I'm going to go. Yeah, I'm now going to go refill my water, and before we move on to Registeel, I know I'll be right back. All right, I am back, and we're doing Ubers now. So starting off Ubers, we have Regi. We have Regice. We got Marshadow, Primal Kyogre, Zekrom, Lunala, Arceus, Steel, Mega Diancie, Galarian Slowking, Zarude, Togekiss, and Golem. Uh, okay, just kind of double checking things. Uh, so I like this team. We're team already. We got Marshadow, which is almost completely unresistible stat of a sap combination. And the only type combination there is that can resist both fighting and ghost is ghost normal. So that is immediately something to note. Primal Kyogre is Primal Kyogre. That needs no explanation. Everything on here, it kind of fits together pretty well. Like, you got a fair amount of Ubers, but you've also got, like your basic stuff as well that you do kind of want. This team might struggle a little to get on, like, the hazard side of things. This is going to be specific. Now, I'm not talking about the removal part. I'm talking like the art, although that is certainly something. I'm talking more about the hazard setting part. Because, like, you don't want to run... Because, like, your only spiker is, like... I'm pretty sure your only spiker in here is, like, Golem, and you're not going to want to run Golem every week. You don't want to run Rocks on Mega Diancie or an Arceus or Lunala if you can help it. For the most part. And you don't usually want to run Toxic Spikes on Galarian Slowking. Bearing that in mind, I think I'm going to put the team in even just neutral B tier. Next we got Sambo Lambo, Arceus Ground, Calyrex Ice Rider, Megaments, Solgaleo, Shenpao, Reshiram, Glamora, Shaman Sky, Alolan Ninetales, and Hisuian Zorua. This is a hyper offense team to the extreme. Like, you got Arceus Ground, which is one of the best Arc forms out there. Right? There, you got Reshiram, Megaments, and Calyrex. Honestly, this is like one of... You don't switch into anything, but you deal so much damage to everything that I think it's kind of worth it. If this team's goal is to overwhelm people before they can do anything. Now, it does struggle a little bit to remove hazards, I think. Unless, except for maybe a Defog Arceus, since this is Natdex. But I might put this one in, like, A tier, I think. Just because it just has so many threats that you have to respect. Up next is Chelsea. With Yveltal, Magearna, Fluttermane, Roaring Moon, Ogerpon, Venusaur, Zeraora, Gastrodon, Megazord Y, Great Tusk, and Chi-Yu. Wait. Yeah. This team is certainly interesting. You got Yveltal, Magearna, Fluttermane, and then, like, no other Ubers. Is attached. It's like... It's very interesting. And I think Yveltal is gonna... I think your fairy types are gonna be busted. For the Flutter... Well, I don't know about Magearna, but Fluttermane for sure. That thing is a, that thing is a nuke and a half. Fluttermane is. Excuse me. Ogre, this team is interesting, but it doesn't struggle to set or remove hazards or anything. But it does, I do worry that it won't be able to stick around long enough against the onslaught of super powerful Pokemon is all that I'm worried about here. With that in mind, I'm going to put it in, like, B tier. I think that's a good neutral place. Ace, Daddy Darkar is next. Eternatus, Arceus, of course. Kyurem White, Giratina. Now, this is both Giratinas, so bear that in mind. You got Mega Scizor, Sneasler, Geoxys Attack, Rotom Heat, Tinkaton, and Blissey. So this team has Arceus Dark, which is honestly one of the worst Arceus forms out there. Just because if you want to run a physical set, you don't really have any options. Ends for stab, so you aren't really able to run that. At the Curum White is like it's a big nuke, a big nuke button. In with everything it does. Eternatus is very bulky, so is Giratina. Deoxys attack does so much damage that it is ridiculous. Uh, uh, I think I'm gonna put this. I think I'm gonna put this team in down in Yeah, I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna put this team up in A tier. I think up on top of A tier. It seems very good. Well, actually, no, right below Sambo. Uh, it seems very solid with like you got some decent removal and setting options for hazards. I just think the Arceus form of choice just kind of holds you back a little bit, and you can definitely take hits as well as you can dish them out. So there is definitely that. Next we have Star Maiden. And this looks like a team that I would draft in Ubers, which probably means it is not very good. No, I'll think realistically, this is actually a lot better version of what I would draft. Like, I have a habit in Ubers of conserving my points way too often and not clicking big Uber funny button. So so there's Arceus Fairy, Rayquaza, Megalucario, Landorus, Therian, Hisuian, Samurott, Florges, Spectre, Deoxys Speed, Dondozo, Naganadel, and Regieleki. I think this team is like very. This team is solid for sure. I don't think it has like a lot of hit take. It has a fair bit of hit taking capacity between Dondozo, Florges, and Florges and Landorus T. But you also have a lot of ways to dish out damage and keep hazards up and everything. Like this team does so much damage. I think uh I think I'm gonna put this one in a I think I'm gonna put this one in a probably B tier. Here though, because like the hit taking capacity is okay, but you do kind of got to be a little more careful with it. JK Arceus Water, Mewtwo, Mega Blaziken, Dragapult, Tinglu, Tapu Koko, Corviknight, Porygon 2, Iron Bundle, Rillaboom, Clefairy. There's a Clefairy on my screen. Get it off. I'm kidding mostly. Arceus Water is okay. I don't. Well, actually, I can't speak too much on the other Arceus forms beyond Dark. Arc, that's the only one I know is kind of meh. Um. Yeah. Mewtwo is of course a nuke. Mega Blaziken is annoying. Dragapult, Tinglu, Tapu Koko. I think this might be an S tier team. I think I think. Yeah, everything just kind of checks out. The Iron Bundle feels a little odd, but that's just because I don't really love Bundle in general. I think this is S tier for the most part. Alright, Mavs Fan Razor. Ho-Oh, Groudon, Zacian, Mega Metagross, Darkrai, Zapdos, Walking Wake, Delmise, Arceus Dragon, and Cutiefly. This man really waited till round, round 9 to get his Arceus? That's impressive, not gonna lie. Anyways, this is kind of like what you would expect. Well, actually, it's a little less than what you would expect. There is Zacian. Okay, there is Zacian, which is one of the hardest hitting in Pokemon, ever. I think pretty sure Zacian Crown was banned. But regularization is I think. Mega Metagross is great. Ho-Oh Groudon is probably fairly strong. Walking Wake is gonna do a lot of damage for sure. I question the Zapdos in the Sun, but I'm on a little bit. And the Darkrai as well. But beyond that, I think this is a solid B. This is solid B. Probably not bottom of B. Probably right above. Probably right there, right above Chelsea. Next up, Orn Latios. We got Mega Mewtwo X, Arceus Poison, Genesect, Zygarde Complete, Meowscarada, Rotom Wash, Ferrothorn, Heatran, Hisuian Zoroark, Grimmsnarl, and Moltres. This team is very solid overall. There's not a lot of immediate. There is a fair bit of immediate power from the Mega Mewtwo X and just everything in general. It's kind of bulky here than It's fairly bulky for the most part. Alright. I think realistically, this is top of B or something like that. That may be bottom of A. I think. This might be a little bit of bias, and I want, this might just be me wanting to put my friend high, but I don't think it, but I think I can put it there, maybe. Next up, we got Yelsey. Arceus Ground, Lunala, Chien-Pao, Reshiram, Genesect, Ogerpon, Primarina, Zeraora, Mega Kangaskhan, Iron Jugulis. This seems pretty strong overall. There's no real hazard setters, aside from the Arceus, which could be an issue. The Ogerpon is your only spiker, and you do not have a grounded poison type. This is, I think, the biggest issue with this team is no grounded poison, meaning a lot a lot of toxic spikes are going to be coming his way, Yelsey's way. I honestly, this one might be a C. Like it's just like it's okay, but it folds really hard to hazards. With Arceus Ground being the only removal. Well, and it's yeah, and no grounded poison. You're gonna have a lot of issues with hazards unless you stack heavy duty boots. Next up we have Endless. Yes, Calyrex Ice Rider, Arceus Water, Mega Blaziken, Dialga, Zapdos, Deoxys, Darkrai, Klefki, Clodsire, Charjabug. The Calyrex Ice Rider is like really really good. It's Calyrex. What do you want me to say? It's Calyrex. Arceus Water is definitely. It seems pretty good on this team because like you get your removal and great defensive typing that you do kind of really like here. Mega Blaziken is there for sure. Or Dialga can use both forms. I personally don't know much more about it than it will do something probably. Zapdos is like okay defensively with some nice offensive utility. Deoxys Normal is definitely interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that one drafted before, or aside from dashing over in Delta, and he didn't draft it there. He drafted it in his own league, funnily enough. But Darkrai, Klefki, Clodsire, and Charjabug. I personally am not big on Darkrai at all. Like, I do not. There are people who are fans of Darkrai. I am not one of them. Who are Darkrai supporters. I am not one of them. Klefki is really good in Ubers. It provides a nice, like, screens and hazard support. Or that is really really useful. Clodsire, Unaware, great for the setup. I'm gonna put this team probably B. Honestly, yeah, probably a B tier team. I think Shells. Feel free to call me out for being feel free to call me out for my power rankings. Some of these formats I don't know enough about, but I was already hmm. Sorry. Got a little. Anyway, feel free to make fun of my power rankings. Some of these tiers I do not play quite as much, so I have a lot less knowledge on them. Next up is WikiWill. Wait, hang on. I haven't put Endless's team anywhere yet. Wait. I grabbed the wrong team. Next up is WikiWill. This one is, I feel like I have to rank it around the same place as Star Maiden just because they have very similar teams for the most part. Mega Lucario is one of my personal favorite Ubers. Urs to draft. Just because it's Mega Lucario, it's cool. It's just Mega Lucario, okay? Hey, I might actually have to rank it a little higher. Maybe? Yeah, I think I'm actually going to rank it a little bit higher than Star Maidens. Because there's a lot more, like, pivoting and it's easier to make... It's easier to make stuff happen with Wiki-Will's bulky Pokemon than it is to make things happen with Star Maidens. Like, okay, in Star Maiden's team, Florges and Dondozo are the main bulky Pokemon. Dondozo is kind of a bit of a momentum sapper. So, whereas Porygon 2 gets Teleport and Swampert, Flip Turn, Mandibuzz U-Turn, or Rotom Heat Volt Switch. So, like, everything, like, his bulky walls are not just bulky walls. They do have some, like, pivoting aspects to it. So I might, honestly, I'm going to put this team probably higher than Star Maiden. Where did I put Star Maiden? I put Star Maiden in the top of A tier. So Wiki-Will is gonna go... Sorry, top of B tier. So I think I'm gonna put Wiki-Will above... I think I'm gonna put Wiki-Will in... I have to put him close to the top of A, I think. Like, that's probably a little... I might be putting him wrong. I don't know. And he'll probably give me shit about it later if he thinks I did it way wrong. But I think that's where I think I would put it, possibly. Yeah, I'm just, that's where I'm gonna put it for now. Crow is up next. Next, Yveltal, Mega Metagross, Pheromosa, Primal Kyogre, Tapu Fini, Galarian, Slowking, Tangrowth, Ursaluna, Tyrantrum, and Arceus Electric. Arceus Electric, from what I've heard, is good for one thing and one thing only, and that is Bolt Beam. And that is, like, the only reason people ever use Arceus Electric. However, I will say, it's kind of his fault for waiting till, like, the later rounds to grab an Arceus form. I think his team is, like, alright. I think Tangrowth might end up being a bit of a momentum sap. And I don't think he'll bring Tyrantrum when he's got Mega Metagross, Ost, and Ursaluna. But I can definitely see the rest of his Pokemon putting in a lot of work throughout. I think this is another A-tier team, honestly. You probably, like, bottom A. Next up is Olivia. We got Eternatus, Groudon, Solgaleo, Zekrom, Arceus, Arceus Flying, Fluttermane, Rotom Wash, Suicune Samurott, Deerling, Megatitar, and Sawsbuck. So this is an interesting one, because this feels like a very top-heavy team. There's not a lot of... There's like some bulk to it for sure, like between Eternatus, Arceus, and Solgaleo, I suppose. But there's also lots of offense and it's good hazard setting. I think the only reason this isn't going to be higher would be because the last two Pokemon... This is probably, to be fair, how you draft in Ubers, and I'm just not an Ubers guy. So, with that assumption in mind, I'm going to put this bottom A, I think. That's probably... no, I think S tier is probably alright. I don't know. Yeah, I think S tier. Next up, Queen of Roses. We got Arceus Poison, Zygarde Complete, Magearna, Deoxys Attack, Kyurem White, Slowking, Great Tusk, Tornadus Therian, Zarude, Mega Sableye, and Tarantula. This team is very interesting, I would say. You got Zygarde complete, which is a lot of bulk, Slowking. You got Great Tusk with Rapid Spin. In one of the best spinners out there. Tornty has Defog in this, if it can fit it. Kyurem White, Deoxys Attack are absolute nukes. Magearna is a setups threat. That Zygarde complete is so bulky with like Glare and stuff, and then the Arceus Poison is just your typical Arceus form. I would have to say this is maybe a B tier, probably. Like bottom B, mid B. I'll put in there, sure. I'll put Endless above Queen of Roses, I think. Seanster. I'm trying to move through these quickly, so I'm not spending too long. I'm not going too far over time. We got Seanster's. His team has Marshadow, Ho-Oh, Arceus Dark, Mewtwo, Landorus T, Mega Scizor, Toxapex, Kyurem Black, Galvantula, and Alolan Dugtrio. I think webs really benefit this team for the most part, since some of it can be a little slow. I don't know how fast Marshadow is. It is base 125. That is very fast. I say this team is very... He doesn't have great... His Arceus is his hazard removal. Or I guess Defog Land... well, actually, no. He has a lot more removal than I give him credit for. The problem is that it's all Defog, and he's got webs. Granted, I don't know how impactful that is going to be, considering webs are already kind of fast. His team's already kind of fast. But I don't know. I'm going to put this one in C. And then lastly, Dusky. We got Steel Arceus, Mega Mewtwo X, Palkia, Zacian, Tinglu, Dragapult, Skeletors, Nihilego, Zarina, Corviknight, and Hisui and Avalugg, because of course. This is a very interesting team for sure. I think the Palkia can be both forms, if I remember correctly. Palkia Origin, in particular, interests me. Because I think this is the better Pokemon, but I could be wrong entirely. Feel free to make fun of me if I said that, but you got Zacians, can be fairly strong with like Choice Band, and you got Tinglu, which is great like hazard setting. You have Rapid Spin from Zarina, Defog from Corviknight, and Defog Arceus Steel. I think this is a well-rounded team, just solid A tier. Yeah, sure, I'll put it there. Alright, last division. Regigigas, the one everyone's all been waiting for. But I'm gonna have to make you wait a little longer, chat. I've got to refill my water again. All right, I am back. So let us return. All right, Big Pharma, also called Wonderfire. This is the low tier, and it is super low tier. Your Mabosstiff, Electabuzz, Misdreavus, Mr. Mime, Executor, Colossal, Perugly, Pupitar, Hakamoa, Gloom, and Golduck. Does I don't know if Hakamoa gets Komoa's move, Clangor Soul. Uh, Hakamoa. It does not get Clangor's Soul. Okay. But it is still really strong. Mr. Mime is an unironic. It's kind of a sleeper pick. You got Mabosstiff as well. Mabosstiff is going to be near impossible to switch into in this format because Stakeout boosted Choice Banded Crunches is hurt on the best of days. I think this is a solid team overall. Sorry. And I'd probably give it a, I'm losing my voice, aren't I? Jeez. I'd probably give it a, honestly, I'm giving it A. Alright, up next we got Exostomp. Paldean Toro Scramble. Boltund, Pelipper. Weather setting abilities and terrain setting abilities are banned, by the way. Galarian Linoon, Unmatang, Meganium, Armaldo, Whirlipede, and Marshtomp. I'm pretty sure Galarian Linoon doesn't get the Belly Drum Extreme Speed combo that made regular Linoon as funny. Now, what's going to become a common theme here, I think, is a lot of teams are going to struggle to remove hazards. Like Pelipper Defog, I suppose. Got Whirlipede and Marshtomp. Decent, like, hazard setters. There's Armaldo, might be a sleeper pick, low key. I don't know how to rank some of these, I'm gonna be honest. But I'm gonna put it in B tier. Just B, B, B. Oh. I might be honest, I did not know Armaldo got Rapid Spin. My bad. Uh, Exostomp, since you're a low tier expert, would you mind helping me out with some of these? Like, I'll still do a general overview, but like some of these, I don't really know how some of this would work. I'm still gonna put it in a solid B tier though for your team. Ultra Player. Like, I'm gonna need chat's help with some of this. Ultra Player. We got Altaria, Mawile, Electro, Buffalon, Whiscash, Leavanny, Hisuian, Avalugg, Mienfoo, Stunky, and Behem. Altaria gets the Fog, which is, I guess, is fine. Hisuian Electro. Sorry, if that's regular Electro, that's not the Hisuian one. It is a regular Electrode. mode, which I don't generally love. I know, like, it doesn't hit, but I guess there are a lot fewer ground types around here, so it is certainly a lot better than it would be otherwise, when there would normally be a ground type on every team. Mienfu is normally normally the king of Little Cup, but I suppose it's decent here. Hisuian Avalug is, I don't like it usually. I think that there are a lot of like low tier fighters and stuff that would really love to attack Hisuian Avalug. I'd have to give it but it can spin. I'm gonna have to give this team a probably B, honestly. Yeah, not really a whole lot of a fan of that, yeah. It's true there aren't a lot of NFEs, which is nice. But also, there are a lot of weaknesses here that are kind of pressing. Up next, JCJ. Dodrio, Pikachu, Wishiwashi, Alolan Sandslash, Hypno, Reboot, Servine, Krokorok, Grimer, Illumise, and Tyrants. I do want to check something about Wishiwashi. Since oh wait, it's 14. Oh wait, yeah, it can't go big, I guess. I guess then. Dodrio is low-key insane around here. In this, I think. Like, you got Scarf Brave Birds, and that's gonna hit really hard in this format. Light Ball Pikachu also sounds really scary to deal with. Alolan Sandslash is like a decent spinner, I suppose. Got a fair bit of NFEs down the line, but honestly, I think some of them are pretty great value. I don't think Reboot gets Court Change, unfortunately, but Libero... Oh, with, like, some decent stats. That's overall... I question 10 points Illumise, but I do not really know low tier very well, so who am I to talk? I do want to check something. Okay, contrary is allowed. Okay. Hey, that is certainly interesting. Grimer being the ground poison is a little unfortunate, but I think everything else is fine for the most part. I'm gonna give this team low A for now, I think. Like, I think I'm gonna give it low A just because like, everything else just kind of works pretty well, aside from the Grimer. Well, no, aside from the real problem is the Krokorok is the ground and dark type. Right. My bad. Up next is Scion. We got Rapidash, Swoobat, Ferroseed, Throw-Thievul, Glaceon, Minun, Swalot, Primplup, Dartrix, and Onix. I love how, in a tier where there are several Pokemon, like NFE Pokemon, that are, like, fairly pricey, I love how Minun is still 1 point. That is very funny. This team looks all right. I question the Onyx being the ground types is a little unfortunate. I think. And that's his only ground type. This team looks kind of weak to ground, honestly. You got. I don't really know much about Rapidash. I'm gonna be honest. I think it definitely it's fat. I think it's fast. If I remember that. Uh, yeah, it's fast, and it's about the fastest you're gonna get in this slow tier for the most part. I think, unless you're going for like Electrode. Oh, Swoobat is pretty. Swoobat's mostly like simple setup cheese, unless simple was banned. It probably wasn't. It's like mostly like setup cheese from what I've seen it run, but I think here the setup is going to be very strong for the most part. Art because it's a lot easier to get the setup going off. Ferroseed seems kind of decent, I guess. As Glaceon might actually be an okay Wishpasser, not gonna lie. Well, probably not actually. It's an ice type. It needs to be offensive to really work. I'm gonna put and Throw seems pretty strong as well. This team seems very well rounded, and the low value and all the Pokemon that are like low points have pretty decent value aside from the Onyx. And Onyx, because Onyx has less attack than Oddish. I'm gonna put it like top of A, I think. It's a little weak to ground, actually, so I'm gonna deduct a point from that. You only have like 2 ground resistances, and they are immunities. Ah, I clicked the wrong button. Alright, we got Raiachi up next. Mr. Rhyme, Haunter, Clang Clang, Shinotic, Monferno, Swanna, Lopunny, Golem, Alolan Raticate, and Plusle. Plusle is 5 points while Minun is 1. What is this? Why is Plusle 5 while Minun is 1? I don't get it. Mr. Rhyme, obviously one of like the better hazard removal in this. Well, not the better. It's one of the few hazard removal options you have. In this. Wait, it was a mistake? Was Plusle supposed to be cheaper, or was Minun supposed to be more expensive? I'm guessing Minun was supposed to be more expensive. Anyway, this team looks really scary. Like, in terms of low tier wise, the Monferno is probably a sleeper threat you don't want to sleep on. Mr. Rhyme is like okay utility Pokemon. Haunter, very strong special attacker. Shinotic has Spore, which I don't might or might not be allowed. I don't know. Oh, Clang Clang is pretty darn okay. And then Lopunny. he is there, I guess. Uh, all I like this team. In all honesty, uh, I think this team's like my. I don't know if it's S tier worthy, but I think it might be A. But he also got Plusle over Minen. Oh wait, never mind. Minen was taken before Plusle. Okay, that makes more sense then. So we didn't have a choice. Probably top, maybe our first S tier, maybe top of A. Top of A for now. Up next we have PUBG. We got Lantern. Oh, he drafted me. Oh, let's go. No, not actually. My name is is after Green Lantern, not the Pokemon. I actually have trouble remembering that this Pokemon exists. So, yeah. Squawkabilly, Pinsir, Galarian Mr. Mime, Simisear, Mudbray, Blossom, Alolan Grimer, Swirlix, Gumshoes, and Hisui and Zoroa. Lantern is like a nice bulky water, or one of the few you get in this tier. Here, you with a nice Volt Switch and Flip Turn Pivoting, Scald, all you get Heal Bell as well because it's a Natdex. Squawkabilly gives you access to Intimidate. You can play it. I think it's low enough tier where you can play a bulky role with like Intimidate, Roost, stuff like that. Or, you could run Hustle Brave Birds and nuke everything. Like, if you hit with Hustle Brave Bird, something dies in this low point tier. And that is basically a guarantee. But only if you... Well, there's about an 80% chance, anyway. Galarian Mr. Mime is like a decent spinner. Pinsir has like Moxie sweeping rolls. Well, Mudbray as your ground type is kind of unfortunate, but it clearly is okay at the very least. East Blossom is a terrifying sweeper for the most part. Alright, Alolan Grimer is interesting for sure. As your grounded poison type, I have never seen Simisear do anything. It is a monkey. I have never seen that monkey do anything. But that, to be fair, it's never been this low tier before, so maybe it'll do something. I'm gonna put it over in... This might be a... I think I'll put it bottom of B. I don't think it's C tier worthy. I don't think it's like that bad. I don't think it's bad whatsoever. I'll put it like closer to mid B, I think. It's probably more accurate. Spies. We got Xatu, Masquerain, Kingler, Zepstrika, Rhydon, Cursula, Simisage, Flareon, and Ivysaur. Immediately this guy used up a lot of his points. Alright, I'm gonna use the bathroom. I'll be back. Alright, I have returned. It is time for Spy's team. Xatu, Masquerain, Kingler, Zebstrika, Rhydon, Cursulus, Simisage, Flareon, and Ivysaur. I think the fact that his grounded poison is Ivysaur is really unfortunate. This seems to be a very top-heavy team for the most part. Feels very weird to say that when your top is Xatu, Masquerain, but it's kind of weak to Stealth Rocks. For the, like, you got 3 Pokemon that really do not like Stealth Rocks being up. And your removal is Xatu and Masquerain, 2 Pokemon that do not like Stealth Rocks being up. I might put this in a C tier, in all honesty. Just because, like, the Stealth Rock weakness is a bit of a is going to be a fair bit of a problem. Alright, up next, Wombat Baby. Phalanx, Houndoom, Glamet, Plato, Jumpla, Fracture, and hang on, I'm getting a call. Alright, I'm back. Alright, we got Wombat Baby. This team is fairly good for the most part. We got Shedinja, which is always annoying to deal with if you don't have the right tools. I'd say this is like a solid A or S tier team for sure. Or because you got like Phalanx can sweep very easily. Claydol is one of the best removers you got here. Glamet's one of the best setters you got here. You got some you do struggle a little bit to Fracture's like okay physical breaking, I'm pretty sure. Or I think I'm putting this in S tier. Ace Harm, Raichu, Weirdeer, your Galarian, Stunfisk, Absol, Golbat, Dracolope, Magmar, or Lapras, Thwackey. Seems it's a weird team overall. I kind of like it, but I think it's a little on the weirder side. I'd for sure your only removal being Golbat Defog is a bit of a is definitely probably going to be a bit of an issue. Ooh, but I think overall the team is like okay. I'm gonna give it a C. You do have some very powerful Pokemon, but you don't have a lot of bulk to go with it. Up next is Arceus. I'm trying to move through these quickly. We got Sceptile Cloth, Muck, Girafarig, Quaxwell, Vibravus, Spidops, Cryogonal, and Combuskin. And this is a very interesting team overall. Combuskin can have speed boosts, I think, if I remember correctly. At least I would think so, otherwise it wouldn't be 11 points. Cryogonal's a okay removal. Spidops gives you sticky webs, which is always nice. Quaxwell's also a pretty good spinner. Overall, I'd say this team is like solid B. Next we have Yahoodles. Well, Sandslash, Oriontis, Kadabra, Cramorant, Vanillix, Togedemaru, Stoutland, Ninjask, Cubfu, Bunnelby, and Alolan Vulpix. I don't think those last two... I honestly don't think the full three last one of those were necessary. I think you probably could have just picked up like a 5-pointer or something and been fine. Kadabra's very powerful special offense. Contrary, Lurantis is extremely strong. And excellent to Fog Punisher. Rapid Spin Sandslash is one of the best consistent removals those you can get here. The team is a little... It's actually somewhat electric weak, which isn't an ice. It's specific. It's actually very ice weak, actually, which is not great. 8, but I think I'm gonna put it bottom B tier. Here, I'm speeding up because I got things to do real soon. Well, not because I got things to do. I'm getting tired and I want to go to sleep. We got Flapple. With Rotom, Dipplin, and Liepard, Ninetales, Wartortle, Carbink, Toucanon, Ariados, Palpitoad, and Seviper. It's a decent team overall. It's not really that. It's fairly fast paced. There's no like major or runaway issues that I can see. I'm gonna put it in the weather abilities are of course banned, but it's fairly bulky for the most part, I would say, but also got a fair bit of offense to it. I'm gonna put it in A tier. Your Yveltal, Shiftry, Pyroar, Dusknoir, Kamala, Alamarini, Ampharos, Butterfree, Bronzor, Hippopotas, and Boldor. It's decent teams. We got some... the Shiftry is a nice knockoff spam with like Heat Wave and stuff. Pyroar is a pretty great special attacker here in all honesty. Dusknoir is bulky-ish, I guess. As Kamala's got Spin, Butterfree with like Sleep Powder, Quiver Dance, Shenanigans, Marini with the bulk. This team kind of fits together somewhat. It does okay. I'm gonna put it bottom B. I think I'm gonna put it bottom of B tier for now. Just because I don't think it's as impressive as some of the other teams we've seen. Nah. Up next we got Miles with Aggron, Wigglytuff, Meowstic, Grapploct, Octactor, Namoga, Lumineon, Gabite, Oinkologne, Arbok, and Lampent. This team hits very hard. Alright, it doesn't switch in, and it switches into a fair few things as well. Like, honestly, this team is, like, solid A, for sure. That is Registeel. And then lastly, we got Riss. His team is just insane. Like, come on. S tier. I think I'm pretty sure. Top of S tier. That's the power rankings. I am so sorry. It took me. I've got to go now though. Remember that these are subjective, of course, and they're a little rougher than I was anticipating. Power rankings may, of course, vary depending on who is doing them and why and stuff. But that's all I have for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next live. I will see you all again soon. Till next time, everybody. Lantern Commander of Sector 2814 signing off. Peace. Bye.